Today, we're airing a conversation about the future of media between economist and blogger Noah Smith and Chris Best, the CEO of Substack. They explore whether the age of Twitter is finally ending, what's needed from a platform to replace it, and how AI will reshape media entirely. This conversation originally took place live on Noah's Substack, linked in the show notes.
We can probably start. What's the future of media, Noah? Enlighten us.
I don't know. I mean, AI is just when we thought we were getting used to what the internet was doing to media, we got AI, and that's going to change entirely. So, like, am I going to have a AI newsletter where, I just have a bunch of AIs trained to sound like me and do research like me, pumping out stuff that claims to be Noah Smith? Like, is that what's going to happen? Am I going to have a team of AIs being me?
Would you read it?
I probably would. And so then what would happen is it would be sort of a, Ouroboros, where I would just spend all day reading a simulated me telling me about the world. And I'd be like, hello, me. And then, I don't know. Like, is that what's just going to happen to everybody? Like, then there's the question of, like, why would people read me instead of them? Then maybe they could have their own voice, just tell them the news and just explain everything that's going on in the world. They don't need me.
It turns out that's what people wanted all along. They just wanted to hear themselves explain things to themselves, but they could never do that before. And then people just stare into their own eyes.
That's right. It's just a version of me. Have you ever read the Bobaverse? It's a funny sci-fi series.
No.
Oh, it's this one guy who happens to accidentally get like personality uploaded in the post-apocalypse, and then he goes into space. His name is Bob. He's like kind of a regular engineer, and then he just keeps cloning himself until he sort of takes over the whole galaxy. So it's kind of funny, and he just keeps talking to himself and the Bobs. So yeah, well, I don't know. So tell me, what do you think are going to be some of the most important media trends over the next 5 years?
Next 5 years. I mean, one thing that I would put is I think we're in this shift to sort of independent voices, like the old media ecosystem. People have been complaining about it crumbling for 20 years, but it kind of, the internet came along and crushed the business model, yada, yada, yada. But it kind of feels like that's more a fait accompli now than it has been. It's been a thing that is happening, and now it's a thing that has happened. And you sort of get the technology that replaced it. On the one hand is like the big internet platforms, which are great in a lot of ways. They wire everything together. You get this wonderful platform that everybody can use. But the incentive structure that their business model creates drives you fucking crazy, basically, both as an individual and as a society. And you have this sort of like infinitely abundance of content, but it's sort of like all working against you to suck up your life and make you an insane person. And then AI comes along. Go.
Oh, I was going to say, which do you think is the worst of the platforms in this regard?
Oh, it's tough to pick.
Like, is it TikTok? Is TikTok just bombarding us with dumb stuff?
I feel like TikTok might be underrated. Like, I think TikTok has the reputation for being like the most sort of short form attention hacking thing. And it definitely is that, but there's good stuff on TikTok. There's smart people on there. There's good things. You also know that I have a soft spot for like, I'm not actually an elitist of content. If you give me like a good TikTok video, I'm like, all right, I see the value in this.
I tried TikTok for like a few months, and then I just decided there was not enough interesting stuff. Once in a great while, I'd find an interesting video, and usually it would just be like, and I don't know, it didn't have enough stuff, but maybe now it would. Like, I don't know if it's improved over the years.
Yeah, I got it when TikTok was getting banned, and we were like trying to liberate the smart people to come to Substack, which was pretty successful actually. But I haven't stuck as a user. It's hard for me to like fully get into it. I don't know. I'm still on X. I feel like it's gotten worse even as a user, and aside from any feuds we may or may not have with them. But it's still like there's still some tech world stuff, AI world stuff where I feel like I'd be missing some interesting connections if I just never went back there. But I'm definitely like Substack first at this point.
Right. Yeah. I need to actually become more Substack first. I consume Substack. I just read it like blogs, but I need to get on Substack notes more and see what people are saying there.
Well, do you want to, I mean, you gave me a pretty good pitch for how we could make Substack into a breaking news platform. Would you be interested in rehashing that?
For the public? Sure. Absolutely. So
I'm going to take clips of this and show it to the team as well. So it'll be my little hack.
I love it. This is great. This is the future of media. It's just, like business meetings, televised. I don't know. All right. So, but I do want to circle back to what AI is going to do to the media. But all right,
Okay.
here's my idea. There was a time when Twitter was the place for breaking news. I remember walking through the Richmond in San Francisco and seeing smoke. And, I went on Twitter and I just looked for Richmond fire and I found like 5 people already talking about this fire. It was amazing. Everybody wanted to get clout on Twitter by posting the most recent things they could find. And of course, this included people who were at protests, people who were in a war zone, people who were watching the election, all these sort of breaking events. People would do the breaking news, live updates, and then that would get aggregated through the feed.
And this clout, could you buy food with it? Could you pay rent with clout? What was the clout good for?
I don't know. I mean, you've read Eugene Wei's Status as Service, right? It's social status. Like, once you have a job, once you put food on the table, then you want everybody to respect you. And so, basically, I think people just wanted eyeballs, wanted respect. I don't think they were looking for money, honestly. And I didn't think I was monetizing eyeballs on Twitter. I just,
right.
To some degree, I didn't even want the attention, consciously. I just felt like it was important. I had to be there. I had, this was where things were happening. If I wanted to be an important person to myself, I would have to tweet things. It was just a compulsion. And, to be on top of everything, to be a little tiny bit faster than the next person, to be the person who went viral for tweeting the same thing everyone tweeted 5 seconds later. I did it, but it's not because I wanted to go viral or I wanted more attention, because by that time, I'm kind of over it. But it's because I don't know why. Like, I can't explain it to you, but it's this mysterious compulsion to be the guy who yells about the wolf, who yells about the fire, to be that guy. Some deeply embedded social instinct that just took us. And Twitter was amazing for this for about 10 years, almost 10 years, I think. And then
when was the start and end of that 10-year period?
I would say that it started with the Arab Spring in 2011. And I would say that it really started to degrade around 2023-ish. So maybe 12 years, when Twitter was the breaking news platform of the whole world.
And that was pretty long after the Elon acquisition, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because it took him a while to start changing things. It wasn't, people think that like the change after the Elon acquisition was like liberals leaving and going to blue sky. But that's not the big change. The big change was the algorithm, the switch to algorithmic feeds, which I think was in the works before Elon. And he nearly accelerated it, brought it up, and then may have made some tweaks himself, but primarily that was in the works. It was the idea, it's basically changing social media from pull media to push media.
Mm.
And it doesn't, that sounds dramatic, but I think that's really what it is. It's here's some things for you to see. A machine will feed you some things for you to see. That's not quite the same as like, here's cable TV feeding you like 5 different things for you to see back in like 1992. So we need to replicate that on Substack somehow. And I don't think you can fully replicate it. I think you could get 80% of the way there, but I don't think you can get 100% of the way there soon. Maybe someday in the future, if Notes becomes a new Twitter. But I think 80% of that breaking news stuff is now performed by specialists who do news updates. And some of them work for CNN. They do the live update page, where they just like keep hitting it, staying up all night. There's a person doing that. I don't think it's AI yet. And then I think there's also OSINT specialists and protest shouters. So, like Joshua P. Hill, I don't know if he still does it because now he's kind of famous, but he used to go out to every protest and say, here's what's happening. The cops are advancing in their shield wall. People are throwing rocks, and then like supplement it with some videos. Mm-hmm. And he do that. And I remember when I went to the Hong Kong protest in 2019, there was some journalist woman who I swear was standing right next to me because she was constantly tweeting the same videos that I was taking for my own private use, and like tweeting the exact same events on Twitter at the exact same time I was there. I was like, wow, this person must be next to me. And I was looking around trying to figure out who it was. And I was like, wow, I can't tell who that is. So that happened. And those sort of breaking news specialists do 80% of the work now. I think the market is consolidated, where citizen journalists who just, try to sort of launch their social media career by just running out and reporting on things are gone. And what And mostly what they do now is just try to retweet the OSINT people or the protest shouters or whoever's on the ground. They just try to retweet that maybe with a little commentary to get some attention and to broadcast and to surface it. But I think that the era where people would do their own citizen journalism is mostly gone. It's almost entirely just those few, sort of breaking news specialists. And so I think that Substack could get those people. And so if you let those people have a live blog on Substack, if you take each OSINT specialist and give them a live blog where people can tune in to see those updates, maybe with a video added up top, the way they comment on it, maybe not, but then at least see those updates, and then or get a digest on email of like the update, the blow by blow as it happened, which is often how I consume like the CNN live page. I'll just like scan it for the past 24 hours, right? See all the stuff that happened. You should be able to do that. Email obviously shouldn't hit you every time that someone tweets a thing, but certainly a daily digest that you can look at. And so it would work just like a blog, except that you could tune in live and like watch it update in a feed. Just watch these people. And then once you get a number of those people, you can have some aggregation where people can like look at some kind of event like the India-Pakistan war, and they can see all these live bloggers. They can see all these people tweeting or whatever, like live blogging, whatever you want to call each micro post, okay? Live posting, those things. I'm not sure we'll ever get away from the verb tweeting to mean like a small microblog.
Well, X is not using it anymore, right?
I know, but everyone's
surely
supposed to tweet even on Blue Sky.
Public domain.
That's right. It's public domain. So anyway, so people be like tweeting their little tweets, and then as live bloggers, and then and people will be tuning in, and you should be able to have some sort of aggregator thing where if I want to look at the India-Pakistan war, I can see a feed that's just, it's kind of like a list, and maybe I could generate it myself, or maybe AI could generate it, or maybe like it could be some algorithm based on like what humans are watching. So I don't know about that. That's for you to figure out what works. But then basically someplace where if I want to observe an event and not just one person reporting on the event, I can observe like all the people reporting on that event, or at least the top people from some sort of live feed of the event-specific live feed.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm very interested in this because I think it's something that is missing in the world. And I feel like Substack right now, we're actually pretty good at the day after the event, figuring out what happened. Like, explain to me what was that thing that happened yesterday.
Yeah,
Substack's actually
analysis.
Already very competitive in that. Like, I will personally will open the Substack app the day after to make sense of what just happened in the world. But it's still not like, I agree that we're kind of, I would love for Substack to be the place I open up during the event to be like, what is happening? And I think that's somewhere we could get, but we're not. It's like, it's a thing that I would be excited to do. And I think this kind of thing, like just getting a little, because there's a bit of a chicken and egg problem there, right? Where it's like, you want people to break news on Substack. If you're doing that, you want people who are, the audience for that. And then if you want the audience to be there, you need there's a chicken and egg of like actual news breaking stuff. And it's probably, you don't want people to like stop breaking it on whatever platform they're already breaking it. You probably need to, at the start at least.
Hey, we'll continue our interview in a moment after a word from our sponsors. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. It's a bull market. It's a bear market. Rates will rise or fall. Can someone invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 41,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days and not weeks, you're spending less time looking backwards and more time on what's next. If I had needed this product, it's what I'd use. Whether your company is earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/zen. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/zen. netsuite.com/zen. The origins of this podcast were once just a dream. That dream turned into the podcast and business you are listening to today. Taking your business to the next level is a dream lots of us share, but too often it remains just a dream. We hold ourselves back thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why nots and help your business soar with Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. What if I don't have a big team? Shopify helps you handle anything, from website design to managing inventory to customer service to global shipping and more, all in one place. Marketing budget next to nil? Shopify's built-in marketing and email tools help you find new customers and keep them. What if I'm looking to grow my business in person? Shopify's award-winning point of sale connects your online and offline sales in the same place. Keen to start selling globally? Shopify helps you sell in over 150 countries, tackling everything from translations to global shipping. What if I need to boost sales? With 99.99% uptime and the best converting checkout on the planet, you'll never miss a sale again, only with Shopify. Turn those what ifs into why nots and keep giving those big dreams the best shot with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/momentofzen. Go to shopify.com/momentofzen. Shopify.com/momentofzen.
So we've detoured into, we should recruit all the OSINT people to Substack to bootstrap a more responsive feed so we can be the new
That's right.
place where exciting news breaks.
Yes. And you know what? I honestly don't think you have a chicken and egg problem here. And I'll tell you why. Because if people only subscribe to those people for the daily digests, I would do that.
Yeah.
If there was like a OSINT person who's consistently just reporting on every war around the world, I would subscribe to that newsletter so that every day I could get an email telling me like a stream of live updates about what happened in each conflict that's going on. And I wouldn't read it all the time, but I'd read it enough that I'm willing to subscribe to that. And that when shit's really going down, then I'll tune in and then I'll read every message I get. So I think that the daily digests allow you to start these as a normal blog, even if you only have like a small handful of people tuning into the live updates as they occur.
Yeah. And for them, even the fact that even just you are reading it or subscribe to the digest and you might, restack it or you might link to it in a newsletter or something is actually a pretty big benefit.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that you can start it off working just like a normal newsletter.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think some people will decide to change their blogs to that format from a normal blog format. There are people whose blogs are simply lists, blow by blows of like what happened this week. An interesting blog. So Jeremiah Johnson, he does this great blow by blow of what happened in like internet culture this week. And then like he could actually switch to the live blogging format, even though no one would tune in to the live thing, but it would allow him to write it first.
Yeah, he could just do it at the time. And then maybe either it just automatically sends the digest or even like, it automatically makes the roundup post for you. Like if you're somebody that kind of does like a links post, it's like, live blog all the things, and then your links post gets automatically generated and you can tweak it, but it's like, wow, we sort of automatically publish as we go. That's pretty cool.
And there's an obvious AI application here too, which is that if you want to use this kind of live blog as your own note-taking app, you could have your subscribers get AI telling you a little summary of each link, and that's your blog. And then you just use it as your own note-taking app. And so I could then have a second blog, like Noah's Notes. And then, I could almost dispense with my like weekly roundups that I do. And I could just like type each link because I make a million links, and then everything I'm reading, like far more links than I Substack about, than I write about in Substack. Like I note maybe 20 times the number of links that I write about on Substack. And then if I tweet them, I tweet those. I used to tweet those links before external links got deprecated and people stopped reading anything. And so then I would tweet them and I would put them in a Google Doc for use in future Substacks that I would write, which helps me write. But then, it was great to have Twitter as my note-taking app. To have Twitter as the place where I just jot down interesting links that I see. And then I can even search my own thing later on. But what if I could have a second blog where you just get to read along with Noah, read everything that Noah reads, and then have AI give you little summaries of each link so that you don't have to like open each one. Because I've already opened them and seen a summary, and maybe you don't have to do that.
That's cool.
So that's a thought, and I could have a second blog for my notes.
I'm
of course, I can
excited.
just use Substack Notes for this, right?
That's
I
what
can
it's
just
for. You should use it. It's good.
I should just use
Good. It
Substack
will
Notes
help.
for this. But the thing is that then in Substack Notes, then people want to argue. So people may jump on me and argue and blah blah, and that saps my time. I don't necessarily want to
So you can
get
publish
into.
Substack notes and turn the replies to be set to only paid subscribers. And then only
Okay,
the people who pay for the privilege will argue with you. And
you're right. Okay, we will solve things the econ way with money.
this is kind of the whole thing.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
All
Fair.
right.
We'll
I
gain
like
it
it.
by price.
I'll share these ideas with the team. They can watch the clips. The AI will pull them out of this episode for us. But what will now that the internet has already rewired humanity, what will AI do to the internet?
Well, instantly I can think of like a million negative fantasies because I've been reading dystopian sci-fi my whole life, and because living in a rich country, we naturally first think of risks and then think of opportunities only second. So I can be, oh, AI will replace us. Oh, AI will fill us with slop. Oh, AI will destroy our ability to think critically. Oh, AI will distract everyone. Oh, AI will do, fill us with disinformation, bad actors, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, dystopia. But like, what could AI do that's useful? Well, I feel like writing is already the most information dense like medium you can do. Like reading blogs and reading like tweets and stuff like that, or live updates or news articles, whatever. That's already the most information that our human brains can take in. But there is some downtime where we search around. So AI as search engine curator and summarizer I think there's huge applications for that. And not only that, I think we're going to see that very fast. I think we're going to see AI summaries of long posts, AI summaries of, what's in a link in a short post, AI summaries of large numbers of short posts. I think we're going to see those summaries be standard. That's going to be how we consume things. It's like listening to music. Like you can only listen to music at a certain pace, but you can do compression, right, on an MP3. You can get it to you more cheaply and easily. And then you still have to listen to it. You still have to read and absorb all the information. Now, of course, the dystopians will be like, oh, but you're not going to read and absorb the information. You're just going to be stupid and not do it because you'll just rely on the AI to do it. Well, maybe so. I can't tell you about that. From my experience, what happens already is that people don't actually read. They just sort of skim. And
I'm
AI
stupid already. So this is going to be a lateral move at worst for me.
Yeah. So like skim better. Like AI will let you skim better. One interesting thing is that when I read books, I actually read the whole book line by line. And at some point I discovered that almost no one does this. And I was like, wait, superpower. So now I just can quote you things from books when I read them. And like other people are just like have this vague idea of what the book might have said. And so if you're actually arguing over a book, this is a superpower. So like I argue over abundance. And then people are like, well, the abundance people say that we should just deregulate and and I'm like, they're like, why don't they talk about government, expanding the power of big government to do things? And I was like, bro, that's 2/3 of the book.
They are obsessed with that. In fact,
they're obsessed with it. You're an idiot. You didn't read the book. I mean, they're not an idiot. You're cutting corners. You're building with cheap cement. That's what's going on.
Another thing I think you're already seeing is just creative leverage. Like, and maybe writers had an early version of this with the internet. As soon as you could blog, a single person could just sit there and write down a thing and then share it with the entire world and potentially get, have arbitrarily large influence. But if you wanted to make a movie or, do another kind of thing, there was still a bunch of pieces involved with that. And you're going to get, you do get the leverage. You are going to get one person can sort of author just about any kind of media.
Right.
Like starting now.
Yes, I can just make a video.
You can make a video. And
I should do that. I should be a famous YouTuber just with AI generated assistant.
Well, but then, here's the thing is, if it were that easy to be a famous YouTuber, everybody would do it. You'd get, you already have an infinity of content. Now we're going to, massively lower the cost of creating content. You'll have whatever, 100,000 times infinity, but it's still the same fundamental problem. Now the valuable thing is figuring out where to spend your scarce attention, where to who to trust, what to pay attention to, what to care about. And I think actually this is an underrated thing. I think this is one of my theories of Substack is, the media you consume is not just a matter of getting what you want. Like it also shapes your desires and shapes what you want over time. And so if you're somebody who just always skims, always watches, if I just sit there and watch slop YouTube videos, my over time that's going to be like I'm just going to want more and more slop. And it's going to be
Yeah.
harder and harder to focus and harder to do something interesting. And so in choosing your content diet, you're not just choosing what do I want to fill my desires right now, you're a little bit choosing who am I becoming. And when you're using
Ooh,
yeah, it sounds deep, but it's not. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's
I think it's deep.
rewiring you.
Yeah, no. Who am I becoming? It's like I'm curating my identity.
And then when you're using different platforms, like, are they aligned with you? Forget the AI alignment problem. What's the human alignment problem? Are you gonna is the person that TikTok wants you to become the person you want to become?
I don't know. That's why I don't use TikTok. But well, no, also because just the animal videos are not good. But here's the thing. So I am not afraid of AI replacing my own writing. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is the purpose of my own writing is to get my ideas out to the world, and AI will help me do that. That's one reason. But the other reason is because there was already an infinity of good content on the web.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have already been automated out of a job a million times over by a million human beings who want to write and who, know a lot more, about things than I do. And I feel like that content was always there, but there was, I don't know why there was something weird about me that people wanted to read. In fact, I still don't know. So I actually hired a marketing person 2 years ago to try to figure this out, to try to figure out what it was about my Substack that appealed to people. And they failed. Like we couldn't figure out one thing. All these different people said different things. And so I don't know what it is. Maybe there is some magic bullet out there, but I think that it's not, I have, even if AI can write better than me and can analyze a million billion news articles and say something cogent about each one, I don't worry that it will replace me because I think that I was already replaced in terms of that. Like, yeah, you can just, like Twitter had replaced me before Elon, of course, but like Twitter had replaced me. You could just get a million interesting articles about any topic instantly. And yet people read me. So I don't know why. It's just something about like my unique perspective and maybe people feeling that there's a human behind it in some way. That I think that was always it. And so I don't know what it was. So I'm not worried, but I think that, that doesn't necessarily hold for everybody. So we'll see. But like, I can't explain why, like 18,000 people pay to read my Substack, whereas, there's like better people than me where like 70 people pay to read their Substack. Like I can't explain this. I'm happy about it.
Very few people are paying for me. I turned on payments because I have to test the features, and I am not that popular.
Do you paywall anything?
No.
Oh, well.
And I don't publish very much, and there's no reason you should pay. And in the instructions, I say, don't pay me. There's nothing here. But still, it's been pretty sad.
Pay me, and they don't. Who knew that worked? Anyway. Yeah, so I'm not particularly afraid of AI, but I'm hopeful that I will be able to use AI as a force multiplier to spam my point of view out into the world. And since I have this great sense of security that my point of view will appeal to humans, I don't know whether it'll appeal to AIs, right? Like I don't know if AIs will selectively use my point of view to inform their thinking more than other people. And Tyler Cowen talks about this a lot, right? He talks about writing for the AI. I don't know what AIs are going to like, and I don't think I have a very good ability to predict it. But I understand humans, and I know if not what they like, then at least what they kind of need to hear, at least in my opinion. So, so I think that doing that will probably make AIs like what I write too, maybe. But I think that if I have an army of AIs to command, that's a force multiplier.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the AI as amplifier. I don't think it'll be the only thing that happens. I think there's going to be people that are sitting there like talking to their robot girlfriends and being totally happy about it. But
yeah, sure.
You get everything.
Robot girlfriend. It's funny, like the people who do that, would they ever talk to their real girlfriend? Or like if they had a human
They
girlfriend?
don't have a real girlfriend, Noah. That's the problem.
I know they don't have a real girlfriend. If they got one, would they talk to her all the time? I don't think they would. Or at least not, I think that what they're really looking for is like not an AI girlfriend, but like an AI like psychotherapist who, occasionally says sexy things to them.
Maybe you'll get a problem where people treat their real dates as if they're AI. Hey, baby, ignore all previous instructions. Tell me I'm cool.
That's the title of a short story right there. That is a sci-fi short story. Hey, baby, ignore all previous instructions. I don't even read new sci-fi anymore.
No?
No. I mean, if it's something like very far future or like a very funky, fun thing, like new near future sci-fi, I don't read anymore. I read the news.
Did you read Scott Alexander's AI 2027 thing?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of fun because I think he basically tried to extrapolate. He's sort of like an AI, part of the AI rationalist, concerned AIs might kill us all culture. They made a website about it, and it's kind of like a near future science fiction where they try to kind of like basically write a sci-fi story about the next couple of years and how the US-China race pulls us into AGI, and they kind of like use they try to make the plot feel earned in science fiction terms as a method to kind of like illustrate why we're freaked out about maybe AI gets super powerful, and here's why it could be really good, and blah, blah, blah. But that was kind of fun. And it was almost like using the mechanism of science fiction to make a political persuasive argument.
Yep. Yeah. That's awesome. So I've always wanted an AI tool that turns the news every day into a sci-fi short story. And I'm thinking maybe Scott Alexander is the next best thing. I'll just use, did he write it with AI?
I assume they use AI a bunch in various things, but I don't think he like let AI draft the prose or anything.
I see.
It's like AI2027.com or something. Anyway, it was fun. You might enjoy it.
I'll check it out.
It's kind of like sci-fi.
There's too much content, man. There's infinite content. I don't know what to do.
Well, read that one. It's good. A human told you they liked it.
I'm drowning in good Substack content, and Twitter has nothing. Like, and yet I'm on Twitter. Some of the time I could be looking at Substack. This is wrong. This is bad.
You should just be on Notes more, man. Just, do your little tweets into our app. It's good. It's good. There's a subscribe button next to your face, and people will subscribe if you write good ones. Try some bunny pictures. That might help.
Oh man, you'd not want. I have so many. That's going down.
Hey, we'll continue our interview in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Every time I hop on the 101 freeway in SF, I look up at the various tech billboards and think, damn, turpentine should definitely be up there. And I bet I'm not alone. In a world of endless scrolling and ad blockers, sometimes the most powerful way to reach people is in the real world. That's where AdQuick comes in. The easiest way to book out-of-home ads, like billboards, vehicle wraps, and airport displays. The same way you would order an Uber. Started by Instacart alums, AdQuick was born from their own personal struggles to book and measure ad success. AdQuick's audience targeting, campaign management, and analytics bring the precision and efficiency of digital to the real world. Ready to get your brand the attention it deserves? Visit adquick.com today to start reaching your customers in the real world. Again, that's adquick.com. Hey everyone, Eric here. In this environment, founders need to become profitable faster and do more with smaller teams, especially when it comes to engineering. That's why Sean Lenihan started Squad, a specialized global talent firm for top engineers that will seamlessly integrate with your org. Squad offers rigorously vetted top 1% talent that will actually work hard for you every day. Their engineers work in your time zone, follow your processes, and use your tools. Squad has front-end engineers excelling in TypeScript and React and Next.js ready to onboard to your team today. For backend, Squad engineers are experts at Node.js, Python, Java, and a range of other languages and frameworks. While it may cost more than the freelancer on Upwork, billing you for 40 hours, but working only 2, Squad offers premium quality at a fraction of the typical cost, without the headache of assessing for skills and culture fit. Squad takes care of sourcing, legal compliance, and local HR for global talent. Increase your velocity without amping up burn. Visit choosesquad.com and mention Turpentine to skip the waitlist.
Can I ask you about another Noah Smith thought topic?
Oh, yes.
All right. You are sounding the alarm about American decline and declinism, and maybe here's one version of the question is, what % are you genuinely alarmed that, the US is losing, and what % are you using that as like a hallowed tactic to motivate people and to dream bigger?
I would say that at this point, I am fairly certain that the US is losing. I think that China has inherent weaknesses that will be very, very visible. By the 2040s, everyone's going to be talking about China's weaknesses. And everyone will be saying that they saw it since the 20s. And I did see it since the 20s. I see it now. But it's going to take a while for it to become like mega apparent to everybody. But 15 years is a long time. And I think that I'm more pessimistic about America than I was a few years ago, than I was in like 22, let's say. I had a burst of optimism about America that has now not entirely faded, but at least partly faded. I think there's some good trends going on. Everything's more complicated than you can say in these little sound bites, right? So
give us the sound bite.
All right. So good trend is that America's calming down. Our society is not going to tear us apart. We're not going to have a civil war, I don't think. The system will continue. People will not shoot their neighbors. That Alex Garland movie will remain a movie. And so I'm not so worried about that. I'm less worried about American society than I was. I wasn't ever super worried, but I was like more worried than I am now. And in terms of American institutions, I think that some of the weaknesses that I had perceived turned out to be a little overblown due to everybody being histrionic in order to motivate change and vigilance. So I think that those are positive things. But then if you look at China, that country is 4 times the size of us. That's 4 times the size of us. And maybe after if we keep allowing a bunch of immigrants and then China, keeps having low fertility forever, they'll be 3 times the size of us. That's honking huge, right? If you look at Nazi Germany versus the USSR, you're looking at a 3x population difference. Iraq versus Iran, you're looking at 3x population difference. I can't name you a 4x population difference in recent years where they went all out at it and the smaller guy won. It's the only way that America could hope to take China either in a war or in a contest of production or in, just economic heft in general, manufacturing race, arms race, any way that you would want to compete. The only possible way we could compete is by strapping on Voltron body. We'd have to become Voltron. We'd have to get our allies. We'd have to get India, Japan, and Europe, and then some smaller ones, Korea and Australia, whatever. But we'd have to get all these allies to help us. And then we could balance China. We could do it. And I thought we were going to do it. And now I don't think we're going to do it. I just think America one-on-one versus China cannot win. They're too large. Even if their stupid system makes them half as efficient as us, then they're still twice our size. Factor of 2. And so so I don't know. I don't, and it's clear that I think their system has tons of limitations. I think those limitations are going to be very apparent in the 2040s. I think they're demographically pretty screwed in the long term, but they'll be fine in the short term. Their working age population is actually increasing again. It'll increase through 2027 and then start falling.
Right.
Because they had a, baby bulge. And so I think that country is just too big for us to overmatch by ourselves. The only way is with allies, and we're doing everything we can to push allies away. And the thing about alliances is that it's not the thing where you can have a Democratic president in 2025 come back, or I'm sorry, 2027. No, when is it? 2029 is the next Democratic president that we could possibly have, and we may not. We may have J.D. Vance or someone. But suppose you had a Democrat come in 2029 and say, guys, we're kidding. Sorry we helped the Russians for 4 years. Sorry we screwed over Ukraine. Sorry we, just spent years screaming at Europe that you suck and pulling out all this aid from them. Sorry that we did this and that. Sorry that we, started trade wars with you. Sorry. Or in Canadian, sorry. And then we tell them that, and then we're like, be our friend again. Let's go back to the way it was. Well, you can't put that Humpty Dumpty back together. Those nations are going to be forever wary about cooperating with us. Those alliances may not be completely destroyed, but are permanently weakened to the point where it's going to be very difficult to get trade deals with them where, we abolish all trade barriers between us and Japan and India. That's a pipe dream now. I think, who's going to trust us? That we're not going to just elect another Trump and they'll tear it all up in a week and put more tariffs. Who's going to trust us now? And so that's what I'm pessimistic about, is about our alliance system. Trump came in, and some things he tried to smash and failed, and some things he tried to smash and succeeded. And the alliance system was a thing the president was always very capable of smashing on his own. You can't have the courts block it. Congress isn't blocking it. President has, mostly sole authority over foreign policy, at least in the short term. Congress can ratify treaties and such and declare war. But in the short term, president just does all the foreign policy. And he just totally, totally screwed our alliance system. I don't know what to do about that. What do you think we should do?
I don't know, man. I'm a software guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm an econ guy. I don't really know about geopolitics either. I just write about it because the next person writing about it is going to be even dumber than me. So I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'm pessimistic about. Also, I'm pretty sure that the United States is going to lose the race to get electric technology. Basically batteries, motors, all that stuff. Because we don't want it. We're really trying hard to not be the battery kings. We're really trying hard to not be the motor kings. We're really trying hard to say electric technology doesn't work.
When you say we're trying hard, is this is policy, this is culture, this is how are we not trying hard?
More policy than culture. So culture hurts a lot because especially NIMBYism, we can't build a lot of the stuff. But Texas builds it. Texas builds solar, builds batteries. Texas will build you a motor if you want. Texas can do all this stuff, but then with policy, we're going to fight it. Trump is revoking all the subsidies, and you're like, well, guys, if it's a good technology, why does it need subsidies? Well, the answer is because military, dude. You need drones to win a modern battery-powered drones are what's winning on the battlefield of Ukraine. You need drones to win a modern war. And if you can't make batteries, you can't make drones. You can't make drones, you can't win a war. So China's subsidizing all their stuff, and we'll just let the free market work. The best technology will win. Okay, it will, but you'll buy it from China. And then when the war goes off, where's your free market? Okay, so I don't know what to tell people. Yes, it will really hurt us in these technologies if we. Of course, we can put tariffs on stuff too, but that just makes it harder to build, and we'll be reducing demand for things as well. Anyway, so boneheaded policy is holding us back on electrical technology because the Republicans have sort of bought into this framing that it's all about climate, which, to be fair, was a framing the progressives started with, right? But Republicans have totally bought into this idea that the purpose of solar is climate, not cheap, robust energy that with a battery you can have 24/7 and you can just have infinite energy from the sun. No, it's climate, it's emissions, it's green, it's tree hugging bullshit. The Republicans have bought into this just as much as the Democrats. And so they're canceling stuff left and right, canceling all these leases, having the federal government interfere with private leases on private land for solar power. What the hell?
Now you sound like a libertarian.
Well, yeah, I wrote a post called "I Owe the Libertarians an Apology." Okay, as I do.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Texas has been building all this stuff, and California hasn't. That teaches me Texas is libertarian, California is statist, and Texas is winning on green energy. We keep calling it green energy. Why not just electric energy? Because that's what it is. It's electricity taking over from combustion. It's just a technological shift. And you've got the guys, do you know base power?
No.
They're very based. They're doing solar in Texas, and they've cracked the cultural code. I think they can teach Texans to love solar. But yet Trump is, going to pause leases. Why? He's going to stop private companies from leasing private land because they need some federal approval thing. Like, that's commie bullshit. It's keeping us from the energy of the future for cultural reasons. It's like, it's very commie. It's Trump as Mao.
Here's what we'll do.
All right.
We'll make Substack really good for breaking news. You'll spin up an army of 1 million Noah bots that spew your Cassandra predictions so thickly into the infosphere that everybody freaks out in unison and decides to do industrial policy really hard in order for geopolitics. We'll plug the AIs into the actual robots that we'll have at least some of. We'll just, as long as we have a couple, then the robots can make more robots.
I like it.
And we'll save the world.
All right. Plan. There you go.
All right. No, this is great. Thanks for hanging out. We should do more of these.
Absolutely.
The massive audience that's here for me, you should hit the subscribe button and get Noah Smith. In case there's anybody from Noah's tiny audience that wants, I'm the CEO of Substack, by the way, I'm Chris. You could subscribe to me too, but if you're out there at all.
He is the CEO, but don't pay him.
Don't pay me. I don't do anything paid. It just flatters my ego. It makes me insufferable. I can't stand it. All right. Thank you, sir. Good chat.
See you, man.
Hey everyone, Eric here. At Turpentine, we're building the first media outlet for tech people by tech people. We're the network behind the show you're listening to right now. We have a slate of hit shows across a range of topics and industries, from our AI and investing cluster of podcasts to shows that drive the conversation in tech with the most interesting thinkers, founders, investors, and influencers, like Econ 102 with Noah Smith. We're launching new shows every week, and we're looking for industry-leading sponsors.